All right, welcome to the Power Hour. I almost forgot the fucking name of the show. How bad is that? Oh, it's because I'm super excited as always, and we must be closing in on a Super Wrestlers event because always, and it's been a tradition now, three times prior, and now here we are in the fourth. The week before, the Tuesday before Super Wrestlers, the genius that gave us Super Wrestlers, Billy Wack, is our guest. And hello, Mr. Wack. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How is everyone here? How are we all doing?
Cactus, how are you?
I'm wonderful. And Billy, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having a Super Wrestlers for my birthday.
Well,
I
that was the
very much
plan.
appreciate yes, I knew that the forethought was there. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, happy birthday coming up.
Thank you so much. I knew the second I saw the date that it was
Yes.
for me.
Yes.
The best part about this Super Wrestlers is I was smart enough to take the day after off so I can actually hang out at the after party this time because I understand that's a pretty good time. I saw some pics. So, come to the Super Wrestlers on Sunday, hang out with Super Wrestlers at the after party. You never know what portal or wormhole is going to open up because to say it's unpredictable is something of an understatement.
I think there's going to be like 3 after parties. So how long can you go? How long can you hang on?
I'm a senior citizen, so I'm up early for the extra pancakes at the Waffle House for the seniors, but we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. This is episode 4. When you came back and started
It's
this,
5. It's episode
5?
5. Yeah.
Okay, so we had the night of the Super Wrestlers.
Yeah.
We had the Super Wrestlers Strike Back.
Yes.
We had the Return of the Super Wrestlers.
Yes.
What was the fourth one?
Shadows of the Super Wrestlers.
Okay, so
yeah.
I've been fucking an idiot all week.
Also known as Mario Day.
No,
you forgot Mario Day?
That's right. Shadows of Super Wrestlers.
5. It's amazing. This is my 5th one of these. 5.
So this is so if we're talking in terms of the ultimate trilogy or whatever you'd like to call it, episode 5. So this technically is your Empire Strikes Back. In a way.
You know what?
Or this could be your Attack of the Clones.
You know what? I will say this. It's going to be one or the other of those, and we could reconvene here, and I'll ask you what you felt this show might have been.
I have been incredibly wise in doing this way because I get you tonight, and you get to get all the kids caught up on what they've missed and what they're going to see. And then next Tuesday, I've bookended Super Wrestlers because the punk rock prince, Jordan Cross, will be our guest next week to tell us what the fuck happened.
Wow. I have the best gotcha question for him. Oh, you just wait. The best question.
For Jordan?
Yeah. For Jordan.
All
I have the best one.
Cactus has been questioning his punk rock orientation for a long time.
I know.
And so has Red. And you wouldn't think Red would be an authority on punk rock, but he is, which is...
Why wouldn't you think that?
I wouldn't think it, but here it is. Just like you...
I'm here.
He's never brought it up before.
And of course, here tonight, of course, as always, the urban sensation, the icon, NWA's own C-Red.
No, everybody froze.
Hello, Red.
Because if I ain't here, I can go eat dinner.
No, you're here.
Oh, okay.
Say hello to Billy, Red.
Hey, Billy.
Hello.
We go way back. Way
back.
I love those stories too. You blamed Billy Wack last time for some of your shit, man. You were talking about those early days. Everybody blames you for something. Does that bother you, or do you find that interesting?
Not anymore. I'm like, me? I mean, no. One of these days, I'll write a book, and I'm.
It wasn't I didn't blame him. I mean, first of all, he opened the door. Like, he didn't have to invite me. He could have invited Jim. Because Jim worked for LWF. He didn't have to invite me. But he let me in. He let me into the bump factory. He let me hang out. And that kind of opened my eyes, that solidified that I want to do this, and then other things happen. It wasn't his fault that the day I come to look at the bump factory, the train machine is in the ring beating the shit out of some kid. I'm like, and if he hadn't done that, I never would have ended up in Windy City, uh, where I can't say, I was taught the right way, but there were certain things about the same way I didn't agree, and I wasn't a kid. So you couldn't tell me, oh, well, you can't. I can't. Shit, watch me. So, I don't,
You have to sell 10 tickets or you're not on the show, and you still have to pay me dues.
and
you're
you
not
gotta
on the
buy
show.
you gotta buy an ad in the book.
You gotta buy. Jesus. Oh God, I forgot about the end of the book. All right. I'm sorry. I brought it up. I was gonna try to make a quick, like a little jab and then move on, but now I'm just getting pissed again. How are you supposed to
that show?
Whatever. It's over. So
all right.
The crazy
so now,
part was I ate those tickets. I just here, Sam. Here's the money. Go ahead. Fuck it. I'm not trying to hustle 10 tickets to people.
it's a pyramid scheme.
Basically. So
I always, whenever I had to sell tickets to an event, I would always do it just like I did with my son's candy bars and cookies. I just buy the box and distribute them as necessary. I would buy the tickets and just, I can't, I don't have the time.
I don't
I
either.
started at 43. I don't have time to punch the street to sell tickets. I just, here, you want to go buy this ticket? I'll give the guy the money. It's no problem. But that's neither here nor that. That's just an old man being lazy. What's not lazy is I'm so happy that I was corrected, so I don't keep referring to this as episode 4 all night. Episode 5, heir to the super wrestlers. Now, there are a lot of ways we can take, and that's
I know.
one of the fun parts of the super wrestlers. We love everything you've done with the creativity and the characters and the stories and the venue and the way the show progresses and the way it's built over time. Everything has been great. But I think what some people miss, or maybe they don't, is I like the clues. I like the little clues you leave around, the little Easter eggs that if you're paying attention to what's going on, there's something in the title every month that means something. And here we are at heir to the super wrestlers. And I can't help but think it doesn't relate somewhat to heir to the empire, because it's well documented your affinity for stories that have been told in the past. And, obviously Super Wrestlers Strike Back, Return of the Super Wrestlers was very much an original trilogy. There was symmetry there. And as you've gone through it, you're continuing, but you're not continuing in the way canon was observed. You're kind of doing it the way we were all interested about it, because I remember reading those books when I was a young man. And I think that was part of why the prequel trilogy got hurt, because we knew there were these incredible stories that we wanted to see on the big screen, and heir to the empire was certainly one of them. And now here we have heir to the super wrestlers. I might be spitballing here, but is there any symmetry going on here?
Always. But it's also not exactly what you think it is. Like I say, we always do these the week before the show. If we did them the week after the show, the title of the titles of the shows do make sense, and there's always like a reason for it. But the weird thing is, it's like, is the title of this show specifically for this show, or it's tough to explain. All right, so like I saw this thing on YouTube, and it was like, they got all the Star Wars names of the movies wrong. They're like, A New Hope would actually have been like Return of the Jedi, and Return
I saw
of the
that,
Jedi,
and I agreed with it.
Right, I did too, like 100%. Like The Empire Strikes Back would have been like something different. The Phantom Menace would have been, blah blah blah. It's a good watch. It totally makes sense, and I'm totally screwing it up right here. But in a way, I also kind of think that's like how the names of our shows go. We name it something that's like a Star Wars-ish name, but maybe it's like the next show where this will really come into play, or maybe it already happened. Maybe at the end of all of this, we'll re-scramble the names so that it makes sense and it looks good sitting on the DVD shelf, even though there's no DVDs. But you know what I mean? Like,
jot that down for later.
So we're very excited because Shadows of the Super Wrestlers left us with a great many questions. We saw Rydal come in with his foot soldiers from Crossturnia. Those were some pretty impressive bad guys. And, you know, maybe everybody's a villain in somebody's story. Everybody's a hero. Maybe these villains are misunderstood characters, but they certainly seem like they meant business.
Yeah, I mean, they were Rydal's crack troops from Crossturnia. He brought them in. He's probably going to keep them around his bodyguards. The General Luxon, apparently a general in the armies of Crossturnia. Callus, just like the unchained monster they keep in the basement that they let out to do their evil bidding.
Certainly
So,
had a
yeah.
Kraken vibe going on there.
Yes. Release the Kraken.
Release it.
Callus.
Release Callus. Or you know, something like that. You know, it was very cool to see new characters that weren't even necessarily what we were expecting to be super wrestlers, but very integral into the story. And now here we are. Rydal has his army, but now we've got Ryor building an army, and it sure seems like Shogun Chris Logan is going to be a part of his troops. And we have been hashtagging this since the show. Hashtag feed the steed. Ryer seems to have an interest in the punk rock prince. He wants the boy to feed the steed. And I think there are more than one ways we can interpret that. Tell us about the fascination between Ryor and this young man.
I don't know. Ryor seems to see Jordan Cross. Maybe he just has an affinity for the kid's last name because it sounds like his planet, you know, strictly a weird coincidence. But maybe it's that. Maybe he just sees him as like a fresh face on the, like a kid who's got something good going on deep down. Maybe it's just like a wholesome, like, I'll take you under my wing kind of thing. Maybe it's something else. Time will tell.
And there's that word again, that first word in the title, HEIR. So we could be getting some kind of other people popping through the portal. I mean, super wrestlers, we never know who's a super wrestler. There could be thousands of them for all we know. And maybe we're waiting for an heir or somebody of some importance. Maybe that's what it means. You see, my mind has gone around the bend 6,000 times since the show name was announced. And you had that picture where you're uncurling the poster. And, you know, we're excited when stuff like that happens and we share it and we want to talk about it. I know you can't give us any details, but are there going to be new things that we haven't seen before happening at HEIR to the super wrestlers?
Definitely. The usual like surprises and new stuff. There's a couple new songs that we do this thing like the team, Alex Fisher specifically, and his band Caveat Empire, pretty much like the in-house band for super wrestlers. They make a few new songs if there's new stuff going on, and we have a Spotify, so everything gets released on Spotify. So like a new song or two might even pop up on Spotify before the show. So that's always interesting, and that's always a little spoiler for what's going on. But I can say with 10,000% certainty, we are doing something at this show that no other show has ever done ever before. And when you see it, you probably won't believe what just happened.
That is a bold statement because you have broken new ground on many occasions. Many of us are still scarred from the Flores lava match, which we had never seen before. We are also, you know, still wondering about our vampire porch pirate and how wolf-like will Vlad Bladder be? What's going on there?
It seemed like he was mid-transformation. Some new thing was happening with him last time. And obviously, I mean, this Sunday, we'll find out, hopefully, what the next phase of it is. Or is it calmed? Is he just a vampire again? I don't know. But that's something that'll probably go down on Sunday. We'll find out more about that. And then, you know, Porch Pirate, he's got to be out there wondering like what's going on with his life. So maybe he's going to come looking for answers. I don't know. All I can say is that all of the super wrestlers will be there, with the exception of Business Puppy. So we're still on the lookout for Business Puppy.
Do we still have to? We have those posters out looking for our lost puppy, right?
Mhm.
We're still pounding the streets.
We are pounding the streets.
Can't find the business puppy, because I remember walking into that venue and seeing the lost business puppy flyer as we walked in, and thinking that, man, we need to steal this and bring this home, because it makes us all feel a certain way. I know Cactus very fond of the business puppy because she loves dogs in general.
Indeed. And I can't believe he fell for such an obvious trick.
Well, he's
I
a
thought
dog.
he had a little bit more brains than that.
How many times have you thrown a ball and you faked one way and went the other way and the dog got confused? I mean, they're dogs.
I don't know if
Just
you've
a
met
dog.
my dogs, but they do not care about.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Nexus, we have the robot referee, and a few shows ago he was compromised. We were wondering if that compromised state is going to continue, because with someone like that, with that kind of power being not right, that could be problematic, couldn't it?
It could be. And as far as we know, he's out for repairs. And like he left the ring. He's kind of like a Roomba, you know, like when he's sort of out of power, he just realizes, oh, it's time to make my way back to the charger. So he kind of just did that. The strange thing is, we checked the charger, like where he usually charges, and he wasn't there. And then we looked out the window and saw a car speeding away with a big shiny head driving. So I don't know. Maybe he's like going all the way back to like some weird home office for repairs or for a retooling or a reboot.
Was the ability to drive in his original programming?
It was not. We had no idea. We had no idea. But we also did see him obey the first stop sign and use a signal. So he's got the driving down.
I
That
wonder
is
if you're
comforting and also terrifying.
Yes.
what if this is an artificial intelligence awakening? Because we know AI in movies and AI in the world is all the rage right now. So I mean, maybe he's developing his own soul. Maybe he's becoming Data from Star Trek.
That's the only thing I can think of is that he's, like
Why
like
are you shaking your head? He could be Data.
he's like, no.
We can't go to. We're too Star Warsy. We can't go to the Trek. I get it.
Right.
There are lines on the fence. We can't cross the lines. Destructo and Madam Shatter. That is one of the announced matches. The Punk Rock Prince versus Destructo, and it seems to me.
Punk Rock Prince is versus Rydal.
Oh, that's right. Who's
For the-
Destructo fighting again?
Destructo is squaring off against Nolan, the fucking wizard.
That's right, Nolan the Wizard. It seems to me like Destructo, he commandeered Business Puppy. He's doing. It almost feels like he's trying to recruit in a weird way, and I don't know what that means. Destructo's kind of a creepy guy. Almost seems like one of those alien bounty hunters that kind of show up in movies from time to time. I don't get him. Talk a little bit about Destructo and Mad and Shatter and where they figure out and what's going on.
So first things first, I think Destructo has he lost once to Shogun in the prize match, the prize fight. But otherwise, he has beaten everybody. He is a completely dominant force in super wrestlers, and he and Madam Shatter just want to get home, so himself back into prize contention, I suppose. And they just wanted to use the power of it to get him home. So that's where they're at right now.
So they just want to go home and they'll do whatever they have to. But now instead of having to go up against the heroic figures that the people love, now it's like hate versus hate, bad versus bad. Which one's worse? I don't know which one I would want to face least. The sinister Rydal or the evil Destructo. It's a lot of badness.
Yeah, and being a bounty hunter, I don't think Destructo cares If Rydell has the prize, or if Jordan Cross were to have the prize, or if HEIR were to have the prize, like he will try to beat whoever has it. Because again, I don't think he even cares about any of this stuff. He just needs it to get him home. He needs that thing to get him home.
And that's the thing about the prize. The prize is still, I mean, it's standing behind you in all of its glory, but we don't know exactly what the prize can do to 100%. We know that it's got powers that are not of this world. What do we know about that prize? What can you tell us about the prize? I mean, I don't know why how the prize is just sitting there, just being your co-anchor tonight is kind of impressive.
Because Rydell split out of the ring. Like once Shogun and HEIR and Jordan Cross had the high ground, they left. Rydell left the prize in the ring. Jordan didn't know what to do with it. He handed it to CM Venom. CM Venom handed it to me. So it's sitting there right now. Obviously we'll have to give it back to Rydell when we get there Sunday. But so far, what we know about this thing is it lights up. It makes a weird humming noise. It does that stuff. And so far, Shogun has gotten to use it as a way to speak to Catalyst Tambor, our weird promoter guy who exists in the shadows. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on with this shit.
I mean, is Catalyst Tambor still there? I mean, because we revealed the shocking truth that, it was Shogun from an alternate world, perhaps. I mean,
it was Shogun from
very strange.
Yeah. So Catalyst Tambor still exists. The money still comes in the account. We still get like these certain directives as far as running the show. What we've been able to figure out is he's doing something with time where he's traveling around. He plucked a future Shogun out and stuck him in this pocket dimension and told him to speak to a past Shogun. It's really weird. And that's what the whole thing was that we saw. Like Shogun was communicating with his future self. Catalyst Tambor, just wear this helmet. I need you to go scare the shit out of this guy, just for fun. Catalyst Tambor, I believe, is a terrible person. If he is a person, he could be some weird AI thing from the future. We don't know what he is. We don't know what's under the helmet, but he sends us emails. He sends us money in accounts, and then he shows up to like taunt the wrestlers, be it on the screen or be it a hologram out of the prize. He doesn't speak to me or CM Venom. It's just emails and money. And we're fine with this. But it's tough running this thing because now we don't know what's going to happen. He just occasionally pops in and screws with the wrestlers, the super wrestlers.
So let's take a quick score count. And this is the point that I make every time I post about it. At Super Wrestlers, you get time travel. You get interdimensional cross trips. You get robots, you get wizards, you get wolves, you get vampires. Fucking wizards. You get bounty hunters. You get warring brothers from other ends of the universe.
There's a dog.
That's
too, the dog.
There's a dog. You've got
a missing dog.
We've got a moose, half man that is obsessed with pubic hair. I mean, there's a lot.
And the world's slowest chef.
Which that might have been one of the greatest days
I loved it.
I've ever seen.
That song is an earworm.
That song is on everyone's playlist that attended that show. I'll tell you that much.
Oh man, I'll be honest. There were nights just couldn't sleep, literally couldn't sleep because it's delay just going off in your head. It's like, oh my god, yeah, a few sleepless nights.
With all of this stuff, all of these vibrant things, did you ever believe in your wildest dreams that it would resonate with so many people to become this popular? Because as far as we're concerned, it's a must-see event. You can't miss it.
I'd always hoped, it was always the idea, and I'm confident. I'm a lot more confident now going into show 5 than I was before show 1, where I'm like, I don't know, let's hope this works. And you guys have been like my best cheerleaders, our best cheerleaders. So like if you, and it's sort of like if you guys are liking it, all right, cool, it's working, things are working. But again, yeah, it's different than it was like beforehand and before the first one. But it's been over a year now. The first one was like in April of last year, so we've been living in this Super Wrestlers universe for over a year. And I'm loving it. I don't know if I say I feel I need to say this every time. I'm living my best life. This is the greatest time of my life. I'm having the most fun. The shows I think are fun, and as long as people like them and are involved in the storylines and stuff, then it's a win-win over here for everybody.
It's different than, I really believe it's different than anybody else is doing right now. And right now in our area, you know, the Chicago metropolitan area, Northwest Indiana, even into Wisconsin, there's a lot, Northeastern Indiana, there's a lot of wrestling companies, wrestling shows. You can almost every day of the week and the weekend, you can find something somewhere. There's a show coming up on Thursday of next week. You know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesdays, there have been shows. You can't throw a quarter and not hit a promotion doing something at some point. But they're not like you. They're not like this. The LWF was its own thing, but it's not like this. It's different. Does that give you a lot of satisfaction that you've kind of broken through a mold and kind of a different thing?
Absolutely. I wouldn't. Here comes shitty me. Look out! Look out! I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't different than everything else. And I don't mean that as like I know everybody that would come on here would say, well, we like to do things differently. You don't. Yeah, I've seen a bunch of indie shows, and they're to me, they're not. To me, they're all kind of the same. They're all the same. In fact, there's a lot of guys that work. There's a lot of our guys that work these other indie shows, and when I go see them, when I go see indie wrestling shows, it's like watching a wrestling show in black and white. And there's like 9 of them, like every weekend. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. But I'm not competing with them. I'm not competing with them. Even though, like, it's the same thing. We're sort of, there's a wrestling ring and there's a microphone and there's a music and stuff. Like, I don't think like what we're doing at all is different. So I don't feel threatened. I don't feel like I need to pay attention to anybody else. But as like a fan, I think the area is oversaturated and none of the shows are like completely exciting. There's politics that are still going on in these companies, and like the men running them are like older and old enough to not be falling into the traps of like politics helping to book the shows or like this or that. If we were ever like pissed off at like maybe something Sam did, like we were goofing about the having to sell tickets and like the old way of doing it, I just see guys that like hated that are now like in power and they don't know what to do, so they just kind of like do this. They fall in the same. Indie wrestling to me is like watching shit in black and white. And I'm not saying like, aha, you idiots, keep doing what you do. I'm doing this great thing. I'm doing something different. I used to do that. I'm out of that now. And I'm like, fuck, it's still going on. Like that shit is still going on. I don't know. I'm picky about venues, you know, those low ceiling venues. I'm picky about bad lights. It's easy now. Just get some good lights, kill the house lights. Dude, like the black and white indie feds I'm talking about could step up their production and do something a little bit better. You could catch up to what Super Wrestlers is doing. But again, it's booked by old weird politics and shit. It's indie wrestling. I don't know what to say. I said too much, and I've only had one PBR. This is it. I'm here, and I'm already hot about nothing.
By the
Well,
way,
let us know when you get about halfway through your second, so we're ready for what comes next.
By the way, Pabst Blue Ribbon is the official beer sponsor of the Super Wrestlers, and they have these giant ones that you can get at the shows. And after 2 of them, you might see other things that you're not expecting because they're that tall and they're that cold.
Delicious Pabst Blue Ribbon. Sponsored by Pabst Blue Ribbon beer.
That's right. And that's why we have the Pabst for you here tonight. I could ask you 7,000 more questions, but I'm going to open it up.
Don't, because I'm going to go off on a tangent in the last 10 minutes that nobody wants to hear about. And someone will probably be angry about it later.
Your tangents are more interesting than most people, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to give Red and Rachel a chance to chime in. So either one of you, I'll be quiet for a while and you have a little fun because that's what this is, fun.
Well, all right then. I see we are continuing our throwing.
Wait, and where are you, by the way? How come I'm getting this like slideshow of like 2 pictures of you? Where are you?
Oh,
I'm here
I
tonight.
have
Why can't
my
you be
dog
here
got
tonight?
my dog got neutered today, and
Okay.
I'm having to like get up periodically because
Okay.
he does not want to stay. He's very sedated, but he's fighting the sedation.
The new
So he
dog. The
will.
new dog?
Yes, the new dog,
Yeah.
the one we found running down the street. So
That's an awesome story.
he will stand up, and then you'll see him start to fall over, and he is like forcing his eyes open, and he's like, I am not going to sleep. And
Yeah.
so he's knocked down quite a few things, taken out my knee. He's having a time. But I promise my face will appear on the next episode.
All right.
All right. So I am a Vampire Diaries girly. So I have some questions about the apparent hybrid you have on your
Okay.
show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fire away. I'll try to catch the yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just wondering. So were there any signs prior to the show that there may have been something else brewing there? Any weird languages spoken, or twitches?
There honestly, there was nothing happened. It was like a title match. He was wrestling the master wrestler, the champion. I don't even think he expected this to happen to him. He seemed to be as surprised as the rest of us were.
That was something else. And then to lose after that.
And then he lost, yeah. But now he has maybe he has some new weird powers. I don't know if he's still a vampire and he's transitioning into a wolf. I don't know if he's keeping both powers. I don't know. I don't know
Right,
anything about this.
I was very interested that when he became the hybrid, he could touch the cross.
Yeah.
So then I'm guessing that the hybridness also cancels out the fact that the cross is silver.
Right. So like he's getting a mix of like who knows what kind of werewolf this is? Like, is it some new thing that isn't in media that we've seen already? Like, who knows? What? I don't know.
Do you think maybe he could use his new hybrid sense to find Business Puppy?
I think he could. But I think Destructo and Madame Shatter are probably like, I mean, they took him away. We need to know like where they put him.
What parallel universe he's in?
Or did they dump him off with somebody? Like, look, Destructo's a bounty hunter. Maybe somebody put a price on Business Puppy's head. Who knows why? At the first show, a box of puppies.
Maybe a disgruntled ex?
Could be. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. A box of puppies showed up at the first show. Maybe he owes child support or something. I don't know. It could be anything. But we haven't seen him, and he's like MIA. Hopefully not KIA.
Yeah, that's well, on that note, will we be seeing anybody new at the Super Wrestlers?
Yes. The answer is yes.
How many?
Can't do that this time.
Damn.
You gotta ask vague questions, Cactus. You can't hit them. You can't make it that
I couldn't be vague if my life depended on it.
That's fair.
This is the same as me telling Rion after the bout on Saturday that I couldn't be subtle if my life depended on it. Vague and subtle, not in my vocabulary.
Also fair.
Can you tell us what planet they're from?
Oh, she's fishing.
That's good. That's a good question. And I will say Earth.
They are from Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But are they human?
At this point, I don't know.
Okay.
Ooh,
I don't know.
The plot thickens.
And is there anything that has you questioning whether or not they're human? What feature in particular?
We just don't know. We just don't know yet. Just don't know yet. Don't know.
Okay.
You're gonna make him start pleading the fifth, and that only happens on the drama show Suits. They only plead the fifth over there.
And in a Trump courtroom. But anyways, moving on.
Well, that's
or no, was it Rudy Giuliani?
Oh, was he doing that? Oh
Yeah,
god, he's the
someone
worst.
associated with them was pleading the fifth nonstop. But I
Morgan.
digress.
Made it a
Um,
cannot watch any of that.
I think that's my questions for now. Those were my main ones. But you let the punk rock prince know
Mm.
that I've got the gotcha question.
You're coming for him.
I'm
Alright.
coming for him.
All right.
I'm going to humiliate.
That's a reason to watch next week, no doubt about it. Red, it's your turn to grill the whack.
I have nothing to grill.
Yeah, he never has
on,
questions.
Billy.
He doesn't have questions.
No, I mean, I don't. I
What?
mean,
You were there. I mean,
I-
you were feeling good, and you had the ladies, and see, that's the thing about Red. Red's backstage. I've been to all four of these things, and to me, I didn't even know there was a backstage. Red's like, "Hey, I was backstage." I'm like, "You were what?" So that's why that's how that works. That's when being
Wow.
Red is
because I was trying to assist somebody, so I was only there to assist.
uh-huh.
One, I hate that I will probably miss Sunday. More than likely, I definitely will miss it.
Oof.
I don't like to hear that.
Well, mom comes home, so
Yeah, and now I totally get that.
I have to take care of her. So, but being at the last, I'm a, Billy, you've been in this business long enough. Sometimes you become a people watcher because,
Oh, yeah.
like, I
Yes.
know how I feel, watching what I'm watching and embracing everything that is happening around me. But sometimes you want to see others. Like there was a I guess, yeah, it was a birthday gathering or something that was there. And to me, it was not your typical wrestling crowd.
Oh, right.
Like,
Yeah.
like I cannot say I would see this same group of people Saturday night, somewhere, So it was like I was watching them and seeing how they, because some people are like, no,
Right. Right.
you know,
Yeah.
but this whole group was so into it. And it was like, just wow. Like, okay, you've got those fans. Of course, you've got the diehard, I've
That's
got
all.
to see wrestling
Mhm.
on every day I can.
Oh, we got to see super wrestlers. We're fans
Oh,
that way, not fans of it all.
and I mean, of course, uh, Jordan winding up in my lap, and, you know, it was like, oh, okay, this is up close and personal. Hey, and I love
He loves the porch pirate.
the porch pirate. So,
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Because you got a knife.
I got
I
three. I got three. It was three. So,
we have
Come
to start
Super Wrestle,
screening
but get
these
get
gifts he
weapons.
gives out. Good Lord.
hey, I loved it. Now, the crazy part, nobody has asked me why do I have a green knife in my basement, but don't worry about what's in the freezer. I just like to say I've only seen any of this somewhat done one other company, and that's national. Wasn't local. But nowhere did they go in depth the way you do. Nowhere near. They've got characters. Like, they've got them. But to have stories that revolve let's be honest, this whole thing revolves around that item that's behind your shoulder. That's what this whole thing is about. Like, and I love the fact that at the last show, all of this was really kind of explained if you had never seen any show before. And me personally, as a backstage person, I think that's always needed, because when you go to someplace you've never been, you know, it's almost like going to a movie. Yeah, a bunch of people love, I'm a Marvel head, so forgive me. You could have watched Endgame and been like, great. It had a lot of action, right? A lot. But if you didn't know what happened from the very beginning, like, it would have took something away from it. And that's what I love about super wrestlers. Like, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of pissed. So originally I wasn't gonna be there because I was supposed to be at a wedding. Didn't do the wedding. Mom gets sick. And in between, I was like, yes, I'm going. And she got sick. So now she's coming home. And I'm like, shit. Me personally, I want to see Logan talk to himself again from another dimension.
That was
Like,
special.
I loved it. I'm like, there's another Shogun, and he's talking to himself, trying to tell himself. And I'm like, why aren't you getting it? And I'm like,
and Future Shogun was kind of a prick.
he was a
He was.
total.
But
I would never say that to his face, mind you. I don't need the super kick of destiny.
I would say it to the Future because I'm not there. So
that's fair. That's fair.
But it's I'll say this, like, because I asked the crowd in the beginning, I was like, you know, how many people have been here before? And it was like, rah! It was really loud. And I was like, okay, how many people it's your first time? Rah! It was like almost just as loud. And I was like, okay, shit. Well, at least the people that it was their first time were already ready to play along and like, rah, made noise, you know, as opposed to like, it's my first time, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to say anything, you know, but getting this like 50-50 ovation, I was like, all right, well, our shit is a little different. It is a little strange. It is extremely storyline based. Let me just throw it out there. Like, all right, guys, there's a lot of shit going on. We'll try to catch you up. Just blah, blah, blah. Just trying to, like I said, we realize this company's a little bit different. So we're just letting you know, like, we realize you're not the typical wrestling fan. So we want to make it very comfortable for you, you know? And that ties into the whole, like, we obviously know what pro wrestling is. 7 to 10 minutes of two men athletically dancing around, blah, 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 with a finish, let's give them something, as opposed to, like, just a plain old wrestling show, you know, like, why are these guys fighting and why are these guys fighting and stuff like that. So I'm just glad that the audience, even the first timers, were still like, we'll come back, like, rah! And like, pre-sales are crazy and we have really good pre-sales and stuff like that. So that lets us know that those people are definitely coming back, and then everyone's excited about it and the plan is working.
Well,
yeah,
it definitely is working. Like I said, that crowd, and if Steve can remember, it was the crowd to our right, and it had to be a like 20 to 25 of them. And again, I could look at some of those people, and I was like, they've never been to a wrestling show ever,
yeah,
ever. Like, they're just doing this because.
but they had a great time.
Part of the birthday girls, you know, this is what we're doing. And there was one lady, and I was like, she's gonna hate tonight. Like,
right?
She is gonna sit there with a sour face all night. And you came out, you warmed, got everybody hyped
in that magnificent suit.
And I look
Mhm.
at her and she cracked a smile. And I was like, let's see what happens. By the first intermission, like, oh my God, you would have thought they were at like a 5-star Broadway play.
Mhm.
She's smiling and she was, did you see that? And it was like, okay. Because again, I'm not worried about the regular wrestling fan,
Yeah, it's the new people, right? Right.
you know. And I was like, got him, got him. And I was like, this this is refreshing when you can sit back and just observe, but you can, like, you give what everybody should. You give pure entertainment, not sports entertainment, entertainment where everybody can do. What I do hate, and I'm going to say it, I hate.
What?
There's something that I hate.
What?
I understand why there's an age limit, but shit, you don't think kids would be beating at the fucking door
I'm pretty
to
sure they
see?
would grab a hold of a dildo and maybe have a life-changing experience.
Hey, I'm
On-
just and I get it, but like, dude, like the characters themselves, they would like
I
this shit is
probably
straight out of comic book.
probably are leaving some money on the table just so we can say the occasional F-bomb or whatever it is. But I also like the idea that the 17 and up, it gives us the freedom if we ever want to go like hog wild with some kind of ridiculous story and God knows what. It's just a little insulation, like a
No, and I get
you
it,
know, like we're
but
not doing crazy things like let's sacrifice this lamb on stage and like here's an incest angle. Oh, but don't worry, they're aliens. Like we're not, you know what I mean? Like so
wasn't that Star Trek? Oh,
probably. I don't
may
watch
never
that,
know.
so I don't know what goes on Star Trek. Ask Jim Wolf. He's a Trekkie.
I know, right?
Ask
Like,
Jim Wolf why he hasn't been back to another show.
I will ask Jim that.
I'm asking you, Jim. I don't know. I've only seen him once. I figured maybe he would like it, but
6 people watch this show, so
And
Jim,
he loved it.
thank you.
That's what he told me. He loved it. So, but again, outside of, and again, I'm all about the kids. That's just the teacher in me. But outside, I have no complaints. I think everybody, and if I could drag my sick mama to your show on Sunday without hearing her bitch and complain the whole time, I would do it. I would do it. I'll find a way to get the wheelchair up there. Hey, sit here, park it. Don't worry about it. I brought your depends. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
That would be very, get her on a motorized scooter. That would be pretty. They'd probably use the motorized scooter in some
They
form.
probably would, right? Knock her off,
Probably would.
drive around. It's good. But everything that you're doing, which is no shot to me, at least, coming from the LWF era to now. I've said it publicly. I've stated it on this show. You have the most creative mind ever. And
thank you.
if nobody else has applauded you, I will applaud you. What you do works. And I personally just wish more and more people come out, and to the point where you have to leave Concordia Hall and find a bigger venue.
Oh no, we're not leaving Concord. That has become the place of
It
legend.
is.
Oh my God. Wait, I got to say something real fast. The last one of these, we were talking about like, oh yeah, and the place is great and parking is free and all that. Literally the day of, they're like, hey, we have to change things around, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And I was thinking about the last time we did this and we were like, yeah, parking's free. And now parking was 10 American dollars. I think I even commented on the last one. I was like, I just found out about it. Like right there, like, and I felt like such a heel.
It was so
And
funny.
clearly we did not see that post. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. The
So let
second
me-
that I saw the hut, I turned to my friend who drove up with me and I was
He's
like,
full
we're
of
gonna have
shit.
to issue a retraction.
No, I commented on that, but I mean, it was too late. I didn't know it literally happened that day. At like
They
3
literally
p.m.
put up a porta shed, and there was a guy
Right.
there. It's great.
Well, no, the porta shed's been there. It's
Oh,
just
has
that,
it?
like it was just like I'm like, oh, it's Sunday. It's like free parking on the street anyway. Let's not. Blah, blah, blah. There was this whole like, yeah. Anyway, I digress.
And I
It
mean-
snuck up on me, and
and
I didn't
again,
know what to do. I was like, fuck.
for us, it was me and Steve. We're in the car, pull up,
Laughed our asses off.
and
Laughed our asses off.
Steve is pulling in, and the dude's like, "Yeah," and I can say it. It was an African American,
What does that have
but
to do with it?
because he looked sloppy as fuck, like nothing professional. Like he literally looked like he just found the vest and threw it on, and was standing there, and it was like, is this shit real? Are we fucking being hustled?
I like
Like-
the outhouse.
That's because that's how it looked. We were like, this is some
Yeah.
bullshit. And
Oh,
like, most people tell you, oh, okay, well, park here, park here, park here.
Yeah.
No, he just took the $10 fucking and was like, all right, that's all right, this is some bullshit. We being scammed.
now,
we don't bump.
listen, even if it's $10, it's still a good value in Chicago because it's expensive as fuck to park in Chicago. And it's
I felt bad. We have I had a perfect record with you guys, like no bullshit, and then like wham, bullshit, and I was like, oh God.
your record will not be sullied with us, but the timing was magnificent. So it was a very funny thing for us. But like I said, the Concord Music Theater is an amazing place. I imagine it would be an amazing place to see a concert. It's the amenities are nice. The people that check you in, give you access to elevators if you want one.
They complimented my purse, and that is enough to make it a 5-star experience for me. So,
Cactus's purse is very important to the world.
and they told me to take care of it as I was leaving. So,
Fans
we
everywhere.
care at
Fans everywhere.
Concord Music Hall.
How does the Concord Music Theater feel about the Super Wrestlers? I mean, it's been packed 4, now going on 5 times. They have to love it, and
They love it. I think they love it. Go. But it's getting better. They're getting better. So I think it's the love is turning into a bigger love. I don't know. I hope. I mean, we still do them. We still have them. They like me. So like everything's cool. Everything's cool.
I'm not going to say this is a comeback because you've been around. I mean, it's not like you did the LWF and then left for years you've been around professional wrestling all the time. And here we are with this. And you said you're having the most fun of your life.
My life.
That's a bold statement because, when LWF was at its peak, that was cutting edge and that was something special. And then you were one of the faces of Blitz, and you dominated Joliet for many years. And now here you are on this chapter of your life. When you look back at all the things you've done, when it's nighttime and it's dark and you're just kind of sitting there with your thoughts and you think of all the places you've been and the things you've done, what goes through your mind? Are you happy? Are you excited? Do you feel regretful? I mean, what is in the mind of Billy Wack? I think that's what we really want.
I'm very happy. I am rarely regretful. I feel extremely lucky. Like half luck and like half that whole like, if you really put your mind to it, you can do it. Like, so half of my life is like luck, and then half of my life is like I kind of did it and made it happen. So there's something to be said about that. But I I yeah, no, I mean, like if this was the last thing I ever did, like I did it. I'm happy. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to just meet a wrestler, and then you grow up and you meet a wrestler, or you you hang around with wrestlers, or you make wrestlers, and then you have your own company, and then you book your own company. Like I've done everything that like I've wanted to do. And I'm still doing it. And that is why I am excited about this, because just when you think like, "Oh, I have all these like accolades and I'm good enough," and it's like, no, you're not good enough. Like, keep doing shit. If you're alive and can still do shit, keep doing shit. And this is like higher stakes, higher reward, higher production, higher everything. Like, if if we envision something, kaboom, like we can make it happen. So that's why this is like, for me, even more fun than like the LWF or Blitz or anything like that. There was always like a bunch of other people in the creative mix, or something like that. This is like streamlined down. This is kind of just, CM Venom and I, we put the shows together with a little bit of help from Catalyst Tambor. It's just a different environment. It's a freer environment, and the shit is just better, I think. The stuff we would have dreamed about as kids, or even in the LWF days, like we're getting to do now, like on this crazy, like awesome budget with great production, and like shit, who wouldn't want this? Um, and this is the other thing. I think like if like I was saying before, like some of these other companies, if they had the production or the budget, I don't know what they would do with it. So I feel responsible to push shit forward and make shit fun and make it like this colorful thing over here to look at, And wrapping it up on that, because of that, I am very happy. I'm very happy that after all these years, everything that I have done still stays kind of good enough to be doing this. That's, there's CM Venom wrote a book about it, and it's a decent read, check out the book, and it tells like what we did, and it just validates now that what we're doing was good enough to even have a book written about us back then.
And the next book, when you write about the super wrestlers, should be even more interesting. And don't forget, when you come to the Concord Music Theater, buy the merch, because these are really groovy shirts. And they have,
we might have some new merch.
They've got colored ones too. It's very cool. I'm looking for hats, Billy. I'm looking for hats.
Boy, do I have something for you this Sunday at the Concord Music Hall.
Hey, it's a birthday surprise all in one. It's amazing. A couple more things before we let you go. The legacy that you have achieved is great. And we tell everybody, come to this show. If you love wrestling, come to this show. And this Sunday, for the first time in, I want to say, a decade, a friend of mine is coming with me to this show. Now, this friend of mine, Charlie, is a wrestling fan from the day I met him when we were in grade school or in junior high school. And we have followed wrestling together over the years. He was the guy that I was with when we went to LWF the one time. And I have been telling him since last April, I'll buy your ticket. Just come and watch it, and it will blow your mind. So here I am. I'm getting ready, and we're getting ready to do this. And I get a message from him yesterday. He's like, I'm going to find a way to get out of my house, because, everybody has stuff that they deal with, and some people deal with it well. Some people deal with it in different ways. And for some people, getting up in the morning and getting out and doing things is not easy. And he said, I really want to see this if you'll take me. And I said, not only am I going to take you, I am going to buy your ticket, and you are going to see what I see. And I know from his whole life to now, the wrestling fan that he is, that is going to be the person in your audience that has the greatest time on Sunday because he is the person you are looking for. He is your target
I
audience.
was gonna say he's who I'm catering to.
He is exactly who it is.
Absolutely.
And if you're around, I want him to shake your hand because he is going to be so excited and amped by the time this show is over.
I hope he likes it. You know, he might. I don't know about all this. I hated it. Oh shit!
I promise you, he's going to love this. So, Charlie will be looking forward to seeing all the great goodies you have. And I have a internet question that was given to me. Now, we're part of a small network of podcasts called FreakNet Studios, and we have a sister show called JFW. The cousin of Mike Nolan is the brain trust behind this whole adventure. His name is Travis. And they had some questions, and they said that I wouldn't have the wherewithal to remember the question to ask you. So I have that wherewithal, and I'm going to read it verbatim. So if you will, this is from Travis to you. And you've already answered this question.
Okay.
If he'd watched this show from time to time, he would see that you have answered this question. But we're going to do this anyway as we send you away. Travis and Travis Alone over at the JFW podcast is wondering. Now, this is from PX. He's our guy that's at the Cubs game tonight, or he'd be grilling you with questions too, because he's seen the Super Wrestler show as well.
Yes.
Travis and Travis Alone over at JFW podcast is just wondering and wanted me to ask on his behalf because he's the only one that's curious about it and nobody else. Can he find these Super Wrestler shows online anywhere with the last show being uploaded to YouTube? He wants to know. He's just asking. Travis, only him. So I think PX is having some fun with Travis, but Travis would like to know where he can find the Super Wrestlers.
Well, Travis, you have a very valid question. And the answer is we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. Because we have three shows that are not on the internet, and we have our fourth show that we put up in its entirety. So the first three shows, we're figuring out a way to like possibly sell them, and we're brainstorming ideas. We're thinking maybe flash drives, like put three shows, fuck it, on a flash drive, sell it for like, I don't know, I don't even know yet. Who knows? And Super Wrestlers, it'll say Super Wrestlers, a little keychain. Maybe, I don't know, like, because DVDs, we don't do DVDs anymore. Why not have a flash drive with everything on it, you know? And again, I don't know, just do companies still do DVDs? Wrestling companies? I'm not talking about, I mean, I have DVDs, there's DVDs, but I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
But I mean.
I still buy DVDs.
I mean, moving forward, like, can we pioneer something where we're handing out flash drives or, you know, doing something like that instead? I'm thinking
the Super Wrestlers, streaming network,
but the Super Wrestlers collection, and it's on a flash drive or something like that. That's the plan as far as the shows, and then eventually. Well, I will say this. We were talking about storylines. We were talking about characters. We were talking about videos. Wait till the website happens.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. No one does a website anymore.
No one does a website anymore.
But this is going to be great. I can't wait to see that. That's fantastic. That's great news. So here we are, Billy.
So an actual hub for Super Wrestlers stuff.
All the Super
Wrestlers, there's all kinds of stuff.
But let me know now, Billy. Let me know now. And I'm showing all of our ages, so the youngins are not going to know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Will there be forums on the Super Wrestlers website?
Oh, oof. You know, I never thought about that. But I love a good forum, a good anonymous forum. Go ahead, like talk your shit. Like, you know, but that's something to think about. I didn't even think about that. But it's just, but yeah.
Are you gonna bring back the hotlines?
The hotline. Maybe there'll be a daily recorded message on the website.
Oh, well,
drive people to the website
for $2.99 per listen.
Man, boy, if we only could have monetized the hotline somehow back.
Boy, y'all.
You know the prime time pimp is buying for this forum, right? The prime time pimp wants the forum,
right? I bet he's a forum guy.
Billy, we always appreciate you taking time, especially the week before a show. We know you're busy with a great many things. This Sunday night, June 9th, the HEIR to the Super Wrestlers at the Concord Music Theater. I know it's going to be great. I know the place is going to be packed and we're going to have the best time. And we appreciate you coming on this show each and every time before the show and talking with us. It means a lot that you support what we do, because we sure as hell support what you do.
Yes, that means a lot to me. And you guys are like super fans of it. And like I get to talk to you and you guys ask me all the questions that get my brain thinking about it even more. So I love it. Thank you.
All right, we are going to say goodbye to Billy Whack, because Billy Whack has Billy Whack things to do. Check him out this Sunday at the Concord Music Theater. I guarantee you it'll be the best wrestling show you've seen in a while. Thank you.
You're just saying that because I'm right here.
Well, I'll say it. You watch the show afterwards, and I'll say it when you're off the air.
Either way, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
see next
Billy.
time.
Thank you.
There he goes. All right, so Billy's gone, and I'll say it whether he's here or not. When you see this show, and everybody I know loves wrestling, that goes to all the shows, and everybody I know is, there's some entertainment. This is a show that is kind of a game changer, and you have to experience it to believe it. And everybody that we've brought to the show that was skeptical leaves with their mind blown. Cactus has seen it. I have seen it. C-Red has seen it. And I forgot to even mention that he had special guests at the last show. AEW's Sky Blue was in the house. Doug Simmons was in the house. So there, you got celebrities that are on TV showing up at Super Wrestling. It's a really cool thing.
Don't forget him. Awesome Kong was there.
Yeah.
Yes, Awesome Kong. I know for sure was at the first one.
Yep.
So, you've got chances to see something that you don't see very often. There are people that, are big names in the business or have been big names that show up sometimes. And, you've got the minds between Venom and Billy that were the LWF. I mean, this is a no-lose scenario. And like I said, Red, Rachel, and I, we all are in shows of some port all the time. And we are in it, and we see it, and we're part of it, and we do things. We all go to this to not work. We go to it to enjoy, to be fans. That's what makes this great. We could go to any show and sit and watch. We choose this one. And that's the greatest compliment I can pay. I pay money to see this. And Billy wanted to give us free tickets, and I don't do that. I mean, I appreciated it, but I want to support this.
Well, speak for your own wallet, Steve.
Right.
Look, hey, you know what? He gave that offer. I think he gave that offer to you as well.
He didn't give it to me.
What
No,
was
I
your
think he gave it directly to you, Steven.
I
Mr. Moneybags.
I spoke only for myself, and I had already bought my ticket anyway. But
Well, how about you buy me my ticket for my birthday?
I'll see what I can do.
I'll buy you a sundae from Margie's.
Did you already buy a ticket?
No, not yet.
Are you going?
Oh, yes, I'm going.
I will buy your ticket.
Thank you. And I'll buy you a sundae from Margie's because we're birthday twins.
We are birthday twins.
We are Gemini twins. No wonder there's so much chaos wherever we go because we're both June Gemini.
That is you're not wrong there. You're definitely not wrong there. So all right, Captain.
But I do want to say because I'm not as emotional of a basket case when I cried during the podcast when I said this to Billy last year, that like Super Wrestlers helped get me through like a really bad year. Last year I had all kinds of sudden medical issues. I was having all kinds of surgeries that I was not mentally, physically, or emotionally prepared for. And I spent most of the year getting cut open with hands in my body, and I was mentally done. And Super Wrestlers was like one of the only things I could do besides Derby, where I just went and I enjoyed myself, and I didn't stress while I was there, and I didn't crash after I left. Like I was on a high for the next couple of days after going. So I like the power of art. And like there's no question when you go to Super Wrestlers that wrestling is an art. It is so powerful, and you will do yourself a disservice if you do not go to see it.
Hold, please.
Okay.
Have we ever been put on hold, Rachel?
What's up?
Have we ever been put on hold before?
No, never. Usually that's what we do to him.
Hold, please.
Can we at least
And
get
he,
some hold music?
right, like, where's the elevator music? Like, you know.
Hold, please.
So anyway, while he's holding, Rachel, tell us about the minor bout that took place this past Saturday, in Homewood.
It was incredible. And I don't just say that because, as you can see, my daughter and my other daughter, Edie, the other girl in the photo, has started referring to me as her other mother. So much for parenting one child. What I can't see. Did you get my ticket?
Yes.
Thank you, Steve. I'll get you a sundae.
I'm a little lactose intolerant. I'm not as young as springtime anymore. So maybe don't.
I'll get you a sundae and I'll eat it for you.
There you go. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I'll get you back, Steve. It was incredible. The scrappers were, I mean, from where they started, and we're talking about, the stereotypical kids that, they're on their wheels and they can barely move, they're just taking little steps or they're skating with one foot. It was a complete 180. They all blew our minds with the intensity and the energy and the athleticism and the track awareness. And also, like, in the Premier League, we're all very gimmicky. We're all very, like, we're mean to each other and we mess with each other. But we don't do that really with the minor league. And so seeing them help each other, even when they're on opposite teams, and congratulate each other, even, we had one jammer, Cherry Knockham was one of our jammers, and she's was an amazing jammer. I think this first bout she did amazing job.
And her family was so happy.
Yes. And scrappers, just so you know, are like, I believe under 8 or 9. So very young kids and just incredible speed. And she went up to her opposing jammer afterwards and congratulated them and told them they did a good job, which in the Premier League, we're going to be, haha, you suck. But the sportsmanship and the kindness, which is really, really like engendered by the rules that Coach Juice has created for them, that are more so about how to treat themselves and how to treat others. And it really, really showed in this bout. Just the spirit was wonderful, seeing them come full circle, and then getting to the brawlers, who are the older kids, and again, seeing them just blossom from where they were even in the last game. They're just improving every week. There were some very intense jams. There were some very intense hits. There were someone skidded out on his face. So it was, but the energy was so good and everybody kept coming back to it, and the characters were phenomenal. We had, if you've ever seen Face Off, the brothers.
Slapshot.
Yes. So funnily enough, there was a version of that.
So fucking hard when I read that.
So I don't know if you know this. But have you ever seen Whip It?
I have.
So there are Manson sisters in Whip It.
I understand, yes.
So it was tied into both of those. And they were so on point. They played together like they literally were siblings. And then we had a Donnie Bravo with the bright yellow hair, and the constant flexing and
That kid is just entertainment personified.
yes.
I
And
love Donnie. I
he
love Donnie. Donnie's one
he
of my
skated
favorites.
in sunglasses, which is
Oh,
I do that only for my entrance. It's very daunting.
he's
So
such a badass.
yes. We had Jackie Slam is now the Azure Blade and picked up some points jamming. Lunala jammed and she was tough because the odds were stacked against her. At one point there was some miscommunication. So two of the blockers on her team were in the penalty box. So she only had two blockers out there, and due to a miscommunication, there were 5 green blockers out there.
It was rough. Rough sledding for Lunala, but she was amazing.
She kept going. She did not let them. They knocked her down and she got back up and she just kept going. And I'm so proud of her, not even just as her mother, but as a skater, because it is so hard to get up when you've been knocked down.
My observation is the fact that the legacy skaters, as I call them, the children of roller derby, mirror their parents in just the most amazing ways. I can easily tell, for the most part, who's a child of a skater in the Premier League. Obviously, I've known Lunala for a few years now, and Lethally Blonde. Obviously, I'm very well aware who her parents are. But you've got Sweet Tooth, skates just like her mom in every way. It's so cool to watch it. But the one that really caught my eye this time was Rebel Ghoul.
Yes.
Skated just like mom.
Yes.
It's uncanny because these kids grew up with the knockouts. They grew up with roller derby.
Yes.
They have watched you guys do your thing, and now they're getting a chance to do it themselves. And they have stylistic points that match what you guys do, and it's so cool to see it. And I keep saying the legacy of the knockouts is in great hands, because I feel like half the people in the brawlers division could move up and be productive skaters on Premier even now.
Oh, absolutely. We're
amazing.
waiting. Frankenherder is going to be the first one.
And
we're waiting.
And Goldie Blocks
yes.
was fierce.
Phenomenal. Goldie Blocks is and has been from day one a phenomenal skater. And then you have Carrot Cake is a phenomenal skater.
Carrot
Cinderella
did some shenanigans that got her sent to the penalty box more than one time.
Yes. Yes. They all have their strengths, and they have all had the chance to have those strengths cultivated. Like personally, like in our home, as everyone knows, I am a blocker, but Hazel originally wanted to be a jammer, but she has learned through doing these drills that she is actually a very good blocker and blocks in the same, like you were saying, mirroring parent is very good at blocking similarly to me, which I do a lot of positional blocking because it makes it easier to stay ahead of them. And she has kind of picked up on that. And then, there are people that are just really, really good at helping their jammer, and like jammers are so grateful for that help. And so everybody has had their particular strength strengthened so that it becomes a cohesive team, no matter who's out there. And it's just really wonderful to see.
Even on the scrappers, you see young people that are going to thrive. And I now have a rivalry with one of the scrappers. She doesn't like me, and she was terrifying.
Was it Black Heron?
She would point at her eyes and then point right at me, and she'd skate by me and stomp on her skate.
Was it Black Heron?
No, Lightning.
Oh, because I was gonna say, if it was Black Heron, Black Heron's mother is my mortal enemy, my arch nemesis.
My goodness. And Lightning is is one of the little kids.
Yes, and Lightning is scary.
You want to talk about the best is yet to come for her. She's fierce, tough, and she's a character.
Yes.
She's calling out an announcer now. Can you imagine what she's going to be doing when she gets up to the brawlers?
She never
He's
misses
gonna
a
punch
chance.
you.
She's gonna could get my ass kicked pretty easily. And there are more than one knockout that want to kick my ass anyway. So that's neither here nor there. One more thing I want to say about this before I let Cactus close it out. The coaches. Without them, I don't think this would be nearly what it's become. And that place was packed. They were again turning away people. I had to make an announcement for people to move over seats to accommodate people to keep them from having to stand or sit on the floor. So we have full houses for the Premier League. You'd expect that because it's the fastest 2 hours in history. But the minors have a significant fan base. And
Yeah.
a lot of it's parents, but there were a lot of people just from town that wanted to see it. So it was packed. And I watched when I could the coaches, on the bench, the coaches that were skating around and everybody building everybody up, keeping the mentality positive, even when mistakes or things didn't go right. And you're looking at Beetlejuice fly around and you're looking at Nanslaughter fly around and Punchy and Marley and Coach Sugar and Coach Decadent. All those
Grumpy and
coaches,
Euro, yeah.
Grumpy and Euro, they all give of their time and give of their experience and give of their skill in all the right ways. And I just want them to know, someone that watches a lot of things, a lot of contact sports, sees a lot of people get coached up. They are some of the best coaching people, some of the best teachers that I've ever seen. So credit and kudos go to the knockout coaches because they are really extraordinary people and they really care. And that you don't get that a lot. You don't get that a lot. Usually
No.
coaches
I
have
will
an
I will
agenda.
say that especially in Derby, like there is no such thing as, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, there's no such thing as other people's children. You know,
It's
children
just
belong to all of us
it's
when
a
it comes down to it.
it's a thrill to watch, and it
Yeah.
does feel like a big family. And every time I'm there, it just gets better and better. And it's an amazing thing to be a part of. And like I said, when I miss it, I miss it. And I literally am like, damn, I wish I was there to see it. And I was happy to be there, and it was the best minors bout that they've had yet. Both games were incredibly close.
Yeah, well, like make sure we bring up the final score. The final score, it was the highest final score we've had for a minors bout ever. It was
It was like 191, right?
or 193.
193.
Mm-hmm.
And all the people, all the knockouts that give of their time to be, the refs and the timekeepers and the scorekeepers. It's everybody working together as a team, giving back, and it just works so beautifully. And it's so much fun to watch. And it's so much fun. I sit there after the show's over and I watch what goes on as families interact and the skaters interact with their families. And it's Red was talking about people watching earlier. Well, that's when I do it, because when the game ends, I'm done. I just sit there and I watch everybody carry on and hug and hold and congratulate. And it's so gratifying to me to get to see that. And I go home happy every time. So knockouts are amazing. The minors are amazing. Before we shift to CSW real quick,
I'm gonna have to go because Bear is awake, as you can tell.
I will let you go in 1 second, but I have to say 3 words. And I have to have you make me understand it. So can you do that before you go?
Yes, if Bear, be quiet. Yes. What are the 3 words?
Derby after dark.
I will not be elaborating that after a minors bout rundown. I will discuss it on the next one. Just know that it's going to be an experience.
So next Tuesday night on this show, when we're finished with the punk rock Prince Jordan Cross, we will talk about Derby after dark. Cactus, thanks for your time.
Thank you. I love you both. Mooches. Good night.
All right. Good night.
Red, and then there were two. Me and you. You and me. The originals, the OGs.
Yeah.
Red, you've gone through some tough things. And I feel bad that I haven't been able to be there for you as much as I'd like to. And I just want you to know publicly that you have so many people that care and love you that I think you would be amazed. And you can always reach out. So I just want to, before we finish with CSW, I know what you're going through, and I feel it, and I'm there, and we love you.
Appreciate it.
Now, before we go, we've got the first ever CSW June show that I've ever been a part of. And I've been working with the company now 5 years, going on 6. And June is always an off month. But now, here we go. An outside show, an afternoon show. We've got all of this stuff at the Underpass Lounge, 9400 Grand Avenue. Doors open at, I need my cheaters. Doors open at 3. Doors open at 3, and bell time is at 3:30. And what this is called CSW Academy Upstart. So you've got some of the CSW Academy superstars that are being trained by the best of the best, getting opportunities to fight people from the main card in many cases, or fight each other. They haven't named all the matches yet, but they have listed a few. Now, one of the marquee matchups is CSW Women's Champion Shelly Benson is taking on Mateo Valentine. Now, that's not really an academy, but it is, because both of these people come from that academy to a certain extent. Shelly learned under Ice Pick Vic Capri at the academy, and Mateo was trained at the academy to a certain extent. So these are graduates that are going to get it on in a match that should be incredibly flamboyant and entertaining. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. I think the crowd would be very entertained. Will be very entertained with this particular match.
And it'll hopefully be a beautiful day. Hopefully the sun will be shining. It won't be too hot. It won't be too cold. People can have a few beverages and enjoy CSW outside, which we haven't done since the pandemic. I think the last outside show that I remember us doing was the Fright Night show in October 2020, and it was cold as fuck. It was real cold. It was like 50 and sunny when the show started, but by the time it got dark, it was like 31 degrees, and the wind, and that was there people are goddamn lucky they didn't pull muscles and shit. That was some cold ass shit. But that's wrestling sometimes when you do it outside. Another match we've got is Malik, who is a CSW Academy attendee, taking on the bastard known as Chris Miller, who lives in a world where people chant Chris Miller sucks, and they would be right. What do you say about this? Malik is a high flyer. He is a staple in the Futures Royal, and he's really coming to his own of late. He is a very, very charismatic young superstar, and Chris Miller just has a way of wanting to beat up all the good people.
Well, Chris Miller doing Chris Miller things, right? Like, are we shocked? We've seen it time and time again. So I've never seen, I'm not gonna say it because I have an idea of who Malik is. But with that being said, I'm still going for the upset, and I'm still pulling for Malik.
Well, I'm pulling for Malik too.
Anytime Chris Miller can get beat, it's a good day, right?
100%. I've been in the ring with the man. He's beat my ass, so I'm always happy when someone beats his ass. In another match, the third announced match so far has been the Lizard Man Nathan Nile taking on CSW Metro Division champion, brass member Iniestra. Now, Iniestra, you know pretty well, You've seen him at CSW, you've seen him at NWA Chicago, so he's out there and he's on fire. What say you about this match?
Here's a little unknown fact. I know the Lizard Man also.
Ooh.
So of course, I can't stand Inastra. Inasta. Minasta.
Iniestra.
Can't, whatever. I can't stand him. I hate him. I hate him.
Oh, wow.
Yes, isn't hate such a strong word?
Man, that's rough.
Can we ban it?
No,
Anyway,
it's gonna happen.
Again, Lizard Man has, over the past few years, has honed his craft.
He's been a fixture in the Future Rumble, and he's actually had some dark matches, and he's been on the main card a couple of times. He's out there. He was on the main card at V for Vendetta and as part of a tag match.
So I am again rooting for the underdog. Is the Metro Division title on the line?
I am not 100% sure. There are many things that are going to happen and change as time goes on. So I am not exactly sure what's going to happen, but it could. I suppose it could be. I don't think TJ Steele would let him defend the title if the deck.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
If the deck wasn't stacked in his favor.
That's right. I forgot he's part of
those are the matches that have been announced, but
the Jackass.
On the initial flyer, you've got a lot of people, a lot of interesting faces on the flyer. You've got the BOZ who plans to be in attendance. So Steve Boz will be at the Academy Upstart event. Your boy all day, Marche Rocket, sitting right next to Steve Boz on that flyer. So Marche Rocket will be in action on Saturday. You've got the return of the monster. And I don't know how this is going to go, but Hades X1X makes his first appearance in a while at Academy Upstart. So if that's not worth your time to see the return of the monster, and we haven't seen him in a while, so God only knows what's on the monster's mind, but I'm sure bad intentions to be sure. One of the new monsters in the Futures division, now kind of spilling into the main card, is FXB. That's the dude that beat up the guy's dad. Just beat the shit out of a man my age who's a dad to Eddie Grayson. Beat him up, beat him down. And then, however, Eddie's dad returned the favor by body slamming him. So he's a little better. He's a little more trained than I am, apparently, because he bodies. I'm not sure that works for me. But it's great theater. And FXB, I was just talking to somebody about him not too long ago about getting an opportunity elsewhere. They asked my opinion, who's hot in the area that doesn't get a lot of love. FXB is a fantastic talent. He is a grinder. He is an artist, and he can do everything. He can fly. He can ground and pound. He is somebody that you're going to see come into his own before long, and he is going to be all over the place. He's all CSW right now, but his time is coming. I've seen this before, and I've called it before. We've seen Axel Rico do many things. I knew straight away that Axel was going to be a superstar. Sky Blue, knew straight away the first time I met her, going to be a superstar. You can just feel it when you see somebody work. He is that guy. Also, you've got Jack Valor and Eddie Grayson are going to be in attendance, and the Diamond in the Rough NWA superstar Rafael Quintero is going to be there, as well as the Phoenix Princess, Amina Belmont, who's also an NWA superstar. So you've got some NWA people going to be there. You've got some CSW rookies going to be there. You've got some of the big talent coming down from the main show. It's going to be a hell of an event. It's an incredible mix of various statures that are all coming together for this afternoon affair at the Underpass Lounge. So if you're not busy on Saturday and you want to do that, even if you're going to a show at night, come to the show first. We'll be done with plenty of time for you to get where you're going, and you'll get to see a hell of a show. You should come. Oh, no, wait, mom's coming home. You got to get ready. I feel you. You'll be there in spirit. Red, you and I are going to be working together a lot in the coming days. You just don't know it yet. You think you know, but you don't know. But it's coming.
Well, I don't know, but I need to know.
I'm gonna sabbatical. I'm gonna kick your sabbatical's ass. I'm taking on your sabbatical one-on-one in the ring. And I'm gonna win. I'm gonna
I
win.
like this. Well,
All right.
I'd like to see that.
That's right. We're gonna close this show.
Uh,
I wasn't sure I was gonna talk about it, and I'm not gonna talk about it a lot. I'm just gonna kind of end with some thoughts. And it kind of relates a little bit to what we were talking about in the green room before the show about saying things on social media that are questionable as far as timing and intent. When you're critical of somebody and when you have something negative to say, rather than spend time making a post and blasting somebody publicly, it would be better to kind of pull that person aside either in person or in an instant message or a DM or whatever they want to call them and say, hey, listen, you did this and I didn't like it. Can you try to not do it? And at least have a dialogue where it helps somebody improve and somebody grow. And, you know, the intent was valid and I appreciate it and I get it, but I don't appreciate the forum in which it was used and brought to my attention. And I'm going to keep it vague on purpose because I'm not trying to shit talk. I'm just saying that if you have an issue with the way somebody does their work or does their job, rather than make it public and try to make a teaching point about it where maybe a teaching point isn't needed, private or in person and say, hey, you said this. This isn't good. And here's why. Because 9 times out of 10, you know, you get a response like, oh, you know what? I see your point. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I will adjust the way I present myself accordingly. That is easier than having bad feelings come out about it. And, you know, as we all know, and Red, you know this very much, the way I came into the business and, you know, how I am now, I take what I do very seriously. Whether it be the few times I'm in the ring, I prepare very hard and I try to make the best of the situation for the fans to be entertained. And commentary is my calling card. Would you say that?
yeah, that's your niche.
And I take it pretty seriously, don't I?
I think you do.
And I always want to do good work. I always want to help the story, put over who needs to be put over, and put over the storyline. And, you know, those are the things that commentary do. You never make it about yourself. You make it about what's going on in the ring. And sometimes if you're a character at a company, you do have to make it about yourself a little bit if you're a character. And, you know, at Rocket Pro, I'm kind of a character. You know, at CSW, I was a character. So sometimes my opinion would be based on what my character is going through or my character is thinking. But overall,
Right.
when I'm in other places and I'm just a commentator, it's all about what's going on in front of me. It's all about it. You know, I might be doing commentary for Wrestle League on June 13th, and I'm not a character there. I'm just a commentator. So I'm going to be calling the matches like I see it. But, you know, we're in an age where you have to be careful what you say because you might offend somebody. And whether you know you offended somebody or not, it happens. You know, I'm 54. So as the LBGQT community has grown over my lifetime, you know, I'm learning how to do things properly every day, you know, with pronouns and such. And, you know, at the beginning when, you know, I started working with certain individuals, I would stumble because you'd be instinctually wanting to say something and then you'd have to do something else. So it was a process, but I've tried really hard. And the knockouts have really helped me with that. They've helped me be better about that. So, again, I'm completely accessible to have somebody say, hey, you didn't do this good. You didn't do this good, get better. And then I can learn from it and make myself better. Constructive criticism is important. And Red, you've been in the business a long time. If you can't handle criticism or constructive criticism, why even do it, right?
Very true.
So again, I'm over it and it's fine, but for that couple of days, it was unpleasant. I'm reaching out to all the people I work with and say, hey, this is brewing on social media. I'm sorry. I would never want to reflect poorly on your companies. And all the people I talked to were like, you're fine. And I appreciate that. That certainly made me feel better. But you never want to put somebody off or make somebody feel bad or misrepresented. So all I can say is perhaps pull somebody aside and bring it to their attention without putting them on blast. Somebody got put on blast today, and it was unfortunate because it was hot on the heels of a very bad situation. And Red, I think that's how we'll end this show, unless you have something to add to what I've just said.
Let me just say, and we had this conversation.
Yeah, you actually called me because you knew I was upset, and I appreciate that.
We grew up in a different era.
We did.
This is the problem. We grew up where if I have a problem with you, you got a problem with me. Even if we decided to fight physically, we said it to each other, we fought each other, and once the fight was over, it was done. Right?
Right.
Now we live in an era where everybody does this. And simply put, a conversation could be had. That's it. A conversation. If we're on the same show, speak to me. I'm not unapproachable.
And
you're not unapproachable.
Over the years, we've had our share of miscommunications and disagreements, but it's just made our friendship stronger.
I agree. But again, people don't want to talk to each other. And I don't get that. It bothers me tremendously. And I'm sure you and your wife have seen it. You go out trying to have a relaxing evening, but you'll look over and see two young people. And it's like, well, how can you enjoy each other? You got your head in your phone. Like,
I'll be honest with you, my wife is like a transformer. Her phone is a part of her body, and it's always there, except when I call her and she doesn't answer. And I know it's in her hand, so she's made.
You know what? And I've been told that. I've been told that. But what I've started to do, especially if I'm around other people, I put my phone down.
As do I.
Now, yeah, with this last situation with my mother, I've kind of had to keep it by my side, on me.
Because you never know.
Right. Just because of everything that was going on. But, ladies and gentlemen, people, who's ever watching, let's just go back and have conversations. That's it. If I do something that you don't like, have a conversation.
That's all we ask.
That's
all.
it.
That's it.
That way you can explain where you were coming from. I can explain where I was coming from. We can work out a happy medium and be good.
Well said,
Now,
Red. I got a question to ask you before we end this.
okay,
What is this?
it's a cookie.
Does this cookie have a neck?
No.
That's right. Rion, cookies don't have necks, bro. All right.
Do I even want to know?
Probably not.
Probably.
That is
Probably.
that is from Dutch Baby Mania that happened. We had Dutch Babies on Sunday. Muggsy James was there. I'm sorry, Mark James was there, along with his fiance, and John Danger was there. Corey McHenry was there. Ace and her dad were there. Christian Torreon was there. Obviously, Rion was there. We had a nice turnout, and it was really fun, and it was a good time. And topic came upon cookies, and Rion said, "I'm gonna bite that in the neck." And I'm like, "You're gonna do what with who?" So I told him, if you come tonight, I'm gonna have cookies here, and I want you to show me the neck. But Rion, of course, obviously very busy doing many things that Rion does. Rion is, you know, he's walking. He walks the earth like Cain. So he's out there doing his stuff. He's the whiz. Didn't have time for the power hour tonight, but I had cookies here for him to show me the neck. And Red says there's no neck. So ain't no neck.
I don't see a neck.
We sometimes in this business we lose people, Red. You pick it up from there.
Yeah. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure if you're watching this show, then you have social media and you have heard the terrible news that we lost one of our fallen brothers today, Santana Starks. We don't know the details, but anytime somebody passes away, we always send our heartfelt condolences and sympathy to the family and friends of Santana. I worked with him a few times, and the last time I saw him, SCW, and very pleasant, just dialogue, conversation. So on behalf of me, Steve, Rachel, Pax, Rion, we at the Power Hour wish Santana Stark's family our deepest sympathy and condolences. And Santana, take that big bump in the sky. I'm sure you're looking down on us as we speak.
Yes, tough news indeed. Loved by many. Anytime you lose a brother, it's a tough day for the business because the business is like family. So rest in power. Best to the families. Yeah, it sucks. And that's all I have to say about that. Next week on this show, Jordan Cross will join us, the Punk Rock Prince. We will talk about what happened this coming Sunday at Super Wrestlers. PX was not here tonight because he was at a Cubs game, repping his Cubbies. And right now, I can't tell.
Why?
Well, I'm looking. Again, I wish I had my cheaters.
Well, last I checked, it was 0-0.
It's a rain delay right now, and on my device, it says.
Oh, it's fine.
White
Sox
Sox
are whooping that ass 5-0. So
I'll tell you what, the White Sox are so bad. If you lose to the Sox, that's just that's you're so close to winning your division. Don't lose games to the White Sox, for Christ's sake.
Hey, get off the Sox.
It's a minor league team, Red.
Hey.
Tommy Pham is their best player. He's 36 years old to have a job in April.
Hey. if
Come
the Cub,
on.
hey, how many years did the Cub fans wait
I
to
don't care. I have been a White Sox fan for a great many years. I love them. I still watch the bullshit, but they're fucking terrible.
I know that
It is the
I'm not
worst
saying they're not
baseball I
terrible,
have seen in my lifetime.
but that's the beauty
That is
of
not
the
the
night.
beauty of it.
Yes, it is. Because think about it. Hex shows a Tuesday night where he's supposed to be here to go cheer on his Cubbies, and they're getting their ass.
He might be a White Sox fan. I don't know what kind of fan he is, but he seemed really happy to be at Wrigley.
He
So
was happy to have an old style. So.
yeah, I don't go to Wrigley. The last time I went to Wrigley, it was to see Springsteen play. And that's the only reason I
been
go
to
there.
Wrigley. Never been to Wrigley.
Hey, that's the only place the Boss was playing. And I would watch the Boss play at Miller Park if I had to. And I hate the Brewers. So that's just the way it is. So that's the last time I went there. And unless McCartney comes back and goes to Wrigley, I don't go there to see baseball. That's for goddamn sure. They traded Dave Kingman in 1980, and that was it for me. I was done.
I stayed a little longer, only because
Might have
my
been
father.
82. I can't remember exactly, but I know when Kingman left, I
was an
I was a
Andre
fan
Dawson.
of both. I was a child. I was a fan of both teams. I didn't understand. Now I understand. I understand.
I didn't. I'm like you. We grew up at the same time, so
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
I collected all the pictures in the newspaper. Remember those back of the sports page, the posters? They would every week you'd get two, snip them out, put them in your room.
I was a Ryan Sandberg fan.
That was 77, 78, when it was the Southside Hitmen. So Richie Zisk and Claudel Washington, Wayne Nordhagen, and on the other side of town, you had Kingman and Buckner and Martin. I had that shit everywhere. I wish I still had that shit. That was a great time to be a baseball fan, but that's neither here nor there. Thanks to Billy Wack. Good luck this weekend at HEIR to the Super Wrestlers, Sunday night at the Concord Music Hall. Next week, it's Jordan Cross. For Rion Skills, who's not here, for PX, that's at the game, for the lovely cat getting wet, and and for the urban sensation NWA's Owen C. Red, I'm Steve. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next week. Be nice to each other. Take people's feelings into consideration. Just be better. We'll see you.